Hello, and welcome to today's episode of the Budget Knitter Podcast. It is episode 15, and that means I have so much to talk about because you guys did it, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. But for those of you who are new, my name is WSpargurKnits. I am your host. This is about my 8th month doing this, so I'm very happy. If you haven't followed me before on any of my social medias, you can find me on Ravelry as WSpargurKnits. You can find me on Instagram as WillMSU, on Twitter as WSpargurKnits, and there is a Facebook group for this podcast, which is facebook.com/thebudgetknitter. So if you're a new subscriber or a new viewer, thank you so much for joining me today. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I have so much to thank you for. And so with that, we have reached over 1,000 subscribers. As of this morning, it is 1,003, and that means we are doing a huge giveaway. I'm going to tell you more about it at the end of the podcast today, but I can't thank you enough. 8 months into doing this and over 1,000 subscribers, that is such a big deal, and I couldn't have done it without you guys, without the love and support that you bring to this podcast. So thank you so much. I can't share my appreciation enough. I'm so excited. I had to take notes on what to do for this podcast because I wanted to make sure that I got everything in, so I've got a notebook full. I've got a little outline. Okay, so first of all, I am not wearing glasses today. I found out that every time I wear glasses, you can see the reflection of my iPad in them, and to me, that was a little distracting, so I've taken them off. I can see without them. Normally I wear them because I like the way they look, and I do need them, but I can see without them. Anyway, so 1,000 subscribers, and a lot of you may understand the significance of that, and some of you may not. So a little bit about what you can expect from this channel now that I've reached 1,000 subscribers. If you weren't already aware, YouTube allows creators to monetize their channel as soon as they hit 1,000 subscribers, and there's a few other criteria in there as well. And so I've reached all of those milestones, which means that I now have the option to put ads on my videos. Now, before a lot of you get scared or start hitting dislike, here's what you can expect. First of all, you're going to get more content. Having more subscribers and more people watching, it means that I need to do even more to bring you content that you like, especially from the standpoint of this being a budget channel. So you can expect more content from me. There's going to be some yarn reviews. I know I keep saying I'm going to do that, and I actually have one filmed. I'm just working on editing it. With yarn reviews, I want to make sure that I've used the yarn before I review it, because then what's the point of just buying yarn and then being, oh, I like the way it feels. Now, I want to use it so that you guys know, how I feel about it, and I can give you a better review. So you're going to get yarn reviews. You're going to get tool reviews. I'm going to kind of go to the bigger name stores. I was thinking about doing some, you can buy a lot of those like Chinese brand things on like Wish or on eBay. I thought about maybe I would purchase some of those things and do reviews on those tools, because again, this is about being on a budget, and if you can find a really great deal for a really affordable price, I want to be able to bring you those options so that if you know someone who is looking to get a set or some sort of tool, I want to be able to show you those options. Other things, I'm thinking about maybe doing some live stream ones where it's more like a question and answer thing, where I might even just be here knitting while you ask me questions, and I wouldn't do them for very long, maybe like 15-20 minutes, but like twice a month or something, I would do that. So more content, that's what it's going to bring. Now, it's not going to be immediate, you're not going to see it immediately, but I am hoping to add ads to my channel. Now, I know a lot of people are like, why are you doing that? Well, this is supposed to be for fun. Why, are you trying to exploit us for money? No, I'm absolutely not trying to do that. The idea here is that if you can put up with a 5 to 10 second ad, or one of the ones that you can skip after 5 seconds, if you can do that for me, Reason being that it takes time to do these things. You know, I have to spend time knitting things to bring you content. I have to spend time filming the video. I have to spend time editing the video. If I can get just a little bit of something from doing that, that would be very helpful. But the idea is that I'm not trying to add an income stream. What I'm trying to do is actually for you guys. So if you can put up with the ads, what I want to do is I want to take all of the money that I get from the ad revenue, and I want to turn around and I want to use it to bring you things for giveaways. So I know a lot of people who watch this podcast, you're like me, you can't really afford the big name or even just any hand-dyed yarn because it's so expensive, like $32 a skein. That's expensive, and I know a lot of us on this podcast, me included, that's just not something that we really want to spend a whole lot of our money on. I mean, a skein here or there is nice if you're going to do socks or something, but when it comes to like sweater quantities of yarn, it's a lot of money, and a lot of us are on a budget. So what I want to do is, if you will do this with me, if you can get through the ad, then I will use the money that I get from the ad revenue to buy nicer hand-dyed yarns to use as giveaways on this channel. What I want to do is to be able to give people who watch this podcast the ability or the option, the opportunity to get something that would be difficult to get any other way. Now, I know giveaway, it's gonna be hit or miss. You may not win, but the idea is that hopefully I can give someone something that they wouldn't be able to give any other way. So the idea is I want to put ads on this channel so that I can get some money so that I can get those nice things for you. Just because you're on a budget doesn't mean you can't have nice things. And if I can provide nice things for you, that is what I want to do. I don't need the extra income. I have a job. I actually have 2 jobs. So I don't need money from this to survive. What I would like to do, again, is use the revenue to get you guys some things that you may not be able to get any other way. And I'm happy to take suggestions on that, like, who do you want yarn from? Is there a specific colorway you like? Is there maybe a material or a fiber that you haven't been able to find or you've been really wanting to try and don't know how? Speaking of which, the yarn shop in my local area has yarn that is like 50% camel. So I'm thinking maybe it's only like 50 grams and it's expensive, but you know, I might pick up some of that. Also Tincan yarn, which is the local dyer here who doesn't sell online or anything. She only sells locally in the shop. I would love to be able to get Tincan yarn for you guys so that you know what's coming out of Las Vegas. That's something I would love to get for you guys, and I know that dyer personally, so I think I can even get it cheaper than I could if I got it through the store. So again, the idea here is I want to be able to get you nicer things. So if you guys can go through the ads, then I can get you nicer things. Cool? Are we in agreement? I really hope so, because you guys are the reason I keep doing this. So, okay. Anyway, what am I drinking? Well, I was drinking coffee. I finished it and I left my mug up there. So I was drinking coffee. Now I am drinking air and listening to my dogs wrestle, like, right there. Can you hear that? They're kind of loud. So if that's what you're hearing in the background, I'm sorry. Okay, so a little bit about what I'm up to. Right now I am planning a trip home in April, the April 20th through the 29th. I don't know if that's going to fall on a podcast week or not. So if it does, we won't have a podcast that weekend. I'll either do it the week before and you'll get two in a row, or it'll be 3 weeks. I'll let you know closer to time, but April 20th through 29th, I'm going to fly back to Kentucky. I'm going to, well, the first weekend I'm going to watch my dad's cats because he's actually going to be out of town when I get there. But he'll be back on Sunday, and then Monday is my sister and grandmother's birthday, so I'm going to spend some time with them. Then Tuesday, I'm going to leave early in the morning, and I'm going to drive down to where I went to school. It's about a 3.5-hour drive. I'm going to drive down to where I went to school, and I'm going to see some of my old friends. I'm going to go... My dog hit the stand that my camera's on. Go. I'm going to drive down to where I went to school, and I'm going to see some old friends, see some old professors. I'm going to watch the jazz concert that night, and I am then going to spend the night with my best friend from college, and then the next day she's going to take off work, and we're going to go see some of my other friends in the area. And then on Thursday the 26th, I will leave and drive back home, and I will spend the rest of the time with my family. I do plan on, while I'm in Louisville, I do plan on finding some yarn shops. I know that there's several. I wasn't as prolific of a knitter when I lived there, so now I get to kind of go back and chase it all down. But I'm really excited about that. I might actually even film a little bit when I'm in the yarn stores just to show you what I find. So there's that. And then, really other than that, I'm kind of just sliding through everything right now. I'm kind of trying to figure out my ultimate path in life. I don't really know what I want to do or where I want to go, which is kind of making this job change that I talked about in my last podcast. It's making it kind of difficult because I'm the kind of person that can find joy in just about anything, but the qualities of the job have to fit, not necessarily the content of the work, if that makes sense. I can do just about anything as long as the environment and culture are consistent with my values and I enjoy the people I'm with and I can find ways to enjoy the work I do. I don't really care what I'm doing, I guess. So I also don't really have any marketable skills. I don't really have anything I can put on a resume that says I am really good at this one thing. What I'm able to put on a resume is I have a broad set of skills that can be applicable to just about any job, and I'm a quick learner and can learn just about anything you teach me, which in a way is good, but in a way is also bad. So it's a struggle, but the thing that brings me all back into it is knitting. Just being around the yarn and knowing that I'm creating and making and getting to do something that relieves my stress, helps my depression and anxiety, and just kind of wrangles everything in, that's very helpful. And I'm actually really thankful that I can knit at work, not at my desk, but I am allowed, if I start to feel a little bit overwhelmed, I do have permission to, get up for 5 or 10 minutes and go sit somewhere. I even have the option of sitting in one of our smaller rooms alone if I need to, and I can just knit until I calm down, and then I come back to my desk. The great thing about my job is we're not really working with anybody, we're not on the phones, and there's 5 of us that do the exact same thing, so if I step away for 5 to 10 minutes, it's not like none of the work is getting done. So I'm really thankful for what I have, and I'm just really confused about where I'm going. So I think that's another reason that I'm really excited about reaching 1,000 subscribers and doing this podcast. It seems that I continue to do what I love, and what I love continues to bring me joy because more people want to see it. And the more people that want to see what I enjoy doing and they share in that joy and that excitement, it makes me want to do it more. And I haven't reached a point where I've ever felt that knitting was stressful, except for one of the finished objects I'm going to talk about. That was stressful, but that's only because I had a very short amount of time to work on it. But yeah. Okay, so enough about that. Let's get into the knitting. I know that I've been here rambling for a little bit, so let's get right into the knitting because I know that's what you're all here for. Okay, so first thing, I show this every time because I make a little bit more progress on it, which is my Flax sweater. If you follow me on Instagram, you have seen the pictures of me wearing this. And this is the first sleeve. I have finished the last decrease repeat. And don't you just love that garter panel? I did make one mistake. I finally, out of all of the knitting on here, I guess I either dropped a stitch or I made it super loose or something, so one of the garter stitches is really big and it leaves kind of a hole. I'm just going to go in when I'm done and I'm going to sew that closed. But that's the only mistake I've made in this, and I was getting really confident that I was going to be able to not make a mistake. I'm not going to say that I don't believe in lifelines. I just don't like to take the time to put them in. So I guess in that way I also don't believe in ripping back. I'll fix it. I don't want to do lifelines. I also really don't like stitch markers. If I can avoid using a stitch marker, I will. Which I did on the wrist warmers. I was supposed to put a marker somewhere, and instead I just decided to keep track on my own. That's a very dangerous game to play, especially if you're not paying attention. But it worked out. Actually, the wrist warmers that I can't show you, I don't think I made a mistake in those. I don't think I made a single mistake. Yeah, I didn't make... I'm very proud of that. It's the first thing other than, like, crocheting, because crochet is easier for me. The thing is, the first one I didn't make a mistake on. First project I don't have a single mistake in. I'm proud of that. Anyway, okay, so back to the sweater. I still have the other sleeve that I'll have to cast on. This is about 14 inches. I'm supposed to go to 19 and a half and then do the cuff. I've tried it on though, and it comes down to about here. So, but that's when I'm holding it out straight. I haven't like tried moving in it to kind of see where it goes. So, my fear is that it's going to end up too long, the sleeve. I've tried measuring the other sweaters that I have like in my closet to see how long the sleeves are on that, but the way they're constructed are seamed together, so the construction's a little different, and I can't really get an accurate measurement. At least that would be comparable to this, because this is seamless. So it's going to be trial and error. It's a good thing I'm knitting too, because this one, other than the fact that it fits and I love it, this is kind of the practice one. But I love the way it's turning out. I love the colors. I think that this is going to be my favorite fall sweater. So yeah, I'm so proud of this. That sounds crazy, but I really am proud of it. Oh, somebody brought up, and I want to acknowledge it because I want to try and see if there's anything anybody knows what to do for the next knit along update. She said when she tried it on her husband, this area here got really bunchy. What did she say specifically? I want to get this right because I want to see if any of you maybe have a solution, because I don't, and I noticed this is happening. So this is Giselle. She said, hey, so I have reached the sleeve part of the sweater and have had my husband try it on to determine how long I should make the sleeves. I'm noticing that since this pattern fails to have short rows at the back for shaping, that the front part pulls a bit too close to the neckline, and according to my guy, it's kind of uncomfortable. Has anyone else noticed this, or is it just me? So that was a really good question, because I do notice that when I try it on, it's really loose and kind of bunches up right where the collar is. And clearly the reason for that is because you're doing a ribbing pattern, which closes in on itself. But then for me, I had to put in twice the number of stitches. So you've taken a number of stitches that is then compressed on itself, and then immediately you've doubled the number of stitches that is not compressed in on itself. So this was kind of a difficult thing, and I don't really have a solution. The only thing I've thought of is if you could somehow do the increases but still do them in ribbing, and I don't even know if that's possible. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea if that's something you could do. Oh my gosh. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, stop it. Stop. Go. Go. I feel like the yarn hoarder today because she's always got her dog that's doing something. Hey, are you eating her foot? No. Go, go. The puppy puts everything in her mouth. Go, I got you a bone. Go chew on the bone. Go chew on the dead bone, not on the... She's trying to eat my dog. Can She has such an adorable smile. I can't be mad at her. Okay, you two, go. Shoot. Go sit in your cage. No? Okay, fine, whatever. Sorry, that was a tangent. So yeah, I don't know how to fix that. If anybody knows, please let me know, because I would love to be able to give that to those of you who are doing the knit along. Let me know if there's something about the collar area. This is only the second sweater I've ever knit, so I'm still not familiar with how to get the kind of collar and neckline that I'm looking for. So if you have a solution to the weird bunching up part of this, please let me know. Also, if you know how to do it without getting a boat neck, because I don't like having a boat necked sweater. The other thing I guess you could always knit a longer collar, and then maybe what you could do is, instead of doing all of the increases in one row, you do like maybe 2 to 3 rows of even increases to kind of help flatten that out. I don't know. Again, honestly, I don't know the answer, and I wish I did. So if any of you know what you can do to improve the collar and neckline of a top-down seamless sweater, please let me know. You can send me an email. My email will be in the video description box below under all of my social media stuff, or you can leave a comment. That would be very, very helpful. So please let me know. Okay. Oh, there's yarn everywhere. So the second work in progress is the sweater I'm doing for the knit along. That is the swatch. And don't be, I'm a little embarrassed by this. This is all I have done. I had deadlines on some other things, so this has kind of gone to the back burner. It's not that I'm not working on it, it's just that this is not the most important thing right now, and I'm trying to finish the first one. So that's why the next knit along update is probably gonna be the next 2 weeks or more. I'm gonna have to work pretty diligently on this. So I will probably try to finish the sleeve on my other flax, and then I'll jump to finishing the increases on this so that we can jump right into the next knit along update. Okay, so yeah, that's this is all I have. This is it. I need to switch to my bigger cable. It's time. Oh, for those of you who are new, the first flax sweater is being done in Karen Big Cakes in the Cranberry Crisp colorway. My local Michaels is selling it on clearance for $3.99 a cake, and it's 603 yards per cake. So you need, for the extra large size that I'm knitting, you need 3 cakes, which comes out to about $12. The second one I'm knitting is in Lion Brand Mandala, which you can get at Walmart for about $5 a ball. It's about 583 yards, I think. I think that ball band is in here. There it is. 590 yards, excuse me. So 590 yards, that's what this is a DK weight, and I did that because my gauge on, the first flax is slightly too big. So I thought if I kept the same needle size and went down a yarn thickness, maybe my gauge would shrink just enough to fit, because the finished extra large is like 47 inches or a little bit bigger. I only have a 46-inch chest, and I just want the sweater to be that much more snug. So we're going to try the DK and see how that works out. The idea here is that I actually really enjoy sweater knitting now that I've done a couple, so I intend to continue doing it. And in order to do that, I'm trying out a few different things so that when it comes time for me to just sit down and knit myself a bunch of sweaters, I kind of have a template to work off of. Okay, do I have any other works in progress? No, I don't have any other works in progress, but I do have one that I'm going to cast on very soon. If you watch the Grocery Girls podcast on Craftsy, the Off Our Needles podcast, they did the Scania shawl knit along this year. I have that pattern, and I am going to cast that on, and I'm going to show you the yarn in a later part of this podcast. I'm going to show you the yarn that I'm going to use. I'm going to show you some of the yarn. Okay, so let's let's go to finished objects. I have two. The problem is I can't show you one of them. I did knit wrist warmers for my stepsister Elena out of my Playing with Mom's Makeup colorway. It is only the second time I've ever seen my own yarn knit up. So they turned out amazing. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me there. Or you can like the Facebook page, because anything I post on Instagram goes to that page as well for those of you who don't use Instagram. And I will post the finished objects the day after her birthday. So March 12th, I will post the pictures of the finished wrist warmers so that you can see those, because she follows all of my social media. Oh, you can go to the Ravelry group. Sorry, I didn't mention that at the beginning. You can go to the Ravelry group, which is the Budget Knitter Podcast. You can search that in Ravelry. Go to the finished objects of 2018, and you can see them there. I posted them there because she doesn't go on Ravelry. So you can see them there. If you don't use Ravelry or don't want to mess with that, March 12th on Instagram or on the Facebook page, the finished objects will be posted there. They're going in the mail today, and I want her to get them and see them before she sees them on social media. So that's one finished object. The second finished object I actually finished this morning, 30 minutes ago, or right before I filmed this, because I needed a finished object to show. I promised that I would try to have one every podcast. And I did finish one. I love it. This is a wonderful project if all you have is one skein, because it is called the One Skein Wonder. It is a shawl. It is, I call it a scarf, but it's a scarfy shawl, and it's got this nice toothed edge, and it just gets wider and wider. It's completely garter stitch. And then for me, I actually did, I don't know if you can see that, I did an I-cord bind off because it looks good on both sides of the work. Now, I've never worn anything like this, but I don't even know if you can see that. Is this how you wear one of these? Okay, something like that. I would even love to like put a button like here or something, but this is so much fun. I love the little tip. Looks like an octopus arm. No, I love this. I love the colors. This was just regular Karen cakes, and this was their red velvet colorway. The annoying thing is I got my ball on clearance, and I haven't seen it in the store in a while, in Michael's, but, whoops. You can see that they tied in a second ball from a different dye lot. So, I mean, the funny thing is when the light is shining on it the right way, you can see that it's two different dye lots. When it's not, it's the exact same color. It was a lot. I was waiting to get to a color change, and it took me forever, and I didn't realize that it actually kind of happened halfway through. So yeah, no, but I love these colors. What's really funny is they match my, the colors we use at work for our brand. So it was actually really appropriate to be knitting on it while I was at work, because it looks like it would be something, part of our brand. I like that. I think I'm gonna leave it on for now. So second finished object, this is the One Skein Wonder. I don't remember who it's by. I think I have it saved. No, I don't have it saved on this. Shoot. Anyway, so if you go to Ravelry and type in One Skein Wonder, then you have to filter it by knitting and free, and it should pop up on the first page. I think that's where it'll eventually pop up. I'm trying to figure out how to... It's fine. It's not cold in Vegas. I love this though. There's another one. Somebody asked if this was called Boom. There's one called Boom, which I think is very similar, except that it doesn't have this toothed edge. I can't remember. The interesting thing is the pattern, a lot of people knit Boom out of this colorway, and I really like the pattern. The interesting thing is that the pattern just calls for straight garter stitch back and forth, but somebody at one point added eyelets to theirs at the color change to kind of really separate the colors. But the pattern doesn't include that because it wasn't originally written like that. Somebody else did it, and so I'm trying to figure out what they did. I think it's just simple yarn overs, but I don't know. I kind of want to knit that next. And I've also really thought about, like, this is great. If you only have one skein of something, this is a project you can do. This is worsted weight on US 9s. It's a perfect project. It's super easy, 4-row repeat. Somebody actually sent me a message on Ravelry and said, how dare you get me addicted to that thing. Sorry. No, it's great. It's so much fun. It's a really easy knit. It was perfect to have at work or to have in front of the TV because I didn't have to think about it. And I've been thinking that, you know, in the future, if I dye up colorways and I want to know what they look like, knitting the One Skein Wonder would be perfect for doing that because then I have an idea of how it knits up. I mean, yes, it would be in garter stitch, and, you know, I want to see how it looks in garter and in stockinette, but I think, no, it'll be great. So, One Skein Wonder, love that project. Let's see, what's next? Oh, I have some new yarn for you. So, the first one I want to show you is actually one that I dyed, and I did this recently using a new technique that I saw on YouTube because I wanted to kind of know how to dye an ombre yarn, which is one that starts as one color and kind of shifts to another. But I didn't really understand how to do that in the normal hank. So I tried something new. I took a bare hank of yarn. In my case, I used the Knit Picks Bare Wool of the Andes Sport Weight, and that is 100% Peruvian Highland wool. That's $4 a hank, by the way. If you are looking for cheap wool, even if it's undyed, Bare Wool of the Andes by Knit Picks bare hanks are $4 a hank. You can always use Kool-Aid or something to dye it if you really wanted to. Anyway, so I got one of those, and what I went ahead and did is I caked it up. I just caked up the bare yarn. Then I soaked it and let it saturate all the way through. Then I put it in my dye pot, and I put spruce dye in the middle. I put Aztec gold color kind of in between the outside and the center, and then I filled the dye bath on the outside with purple. And I just let it soak through the hank. And what I got was this. I have not named this. I've had several suggestions, but I have not named it yet. I'm leaning towards Backwoods Crush or Thriller. I don't know yet. It doesn't seem Thriller to me, but so essentially the outside starts as purple, then we get into the golds, and then spruce would be the inside of the hank. What I love about this is that the way that it seeped through, you get this kind of speckled effect because it bled through in different ways. And this is honestly the effect I was trying to get by dyeing it in an actual hank versus a cake. So this might be my new favorite technique for dyeing. But I haven't named this yet, but this is something new, and yeah, I will probably start dyeing more like this. Other new yarns. At Sin City Knit Shop, which is my local yarn store, I wanted to give back to the store. Being on a budget, I can't really give a whole lot of money to the store, so I asked if I could give of my time or my assistance. And one day, the owner was running a little bit behind. She was trying to get some sale yarn out, but she was trying to get out because she had something she needed to do. I think she was going to go watch somebody in a performance of something. And so I was like, can I help you? I can't spend a whole lot of money here. Can I do something else to help? And she was sure. So she had me price, and put these on a shelf for the sale, and I love it because this is sock yarn. This is Lane Cervina. I don't know. It's an Italian wool yarn. It's sock yarn, and she had it on sale for $5 a ball, but since I couldn't afford it then, she was like, well, why don't you grab 4 of them, and I'll give them to you for $2.50 a ball next week when you get paid. I was like, deal. So I got 2 of these, because you need 1 per sock, and I got this color. I don't think they have names. I think they just have dye lots. Yeah, it's just like color 74 and color 72. So these 2, I'm gonna make socks out of them, and I have 2 of these and 2 of these. And I got, so 4 of these for $2. They were normally $6.50 each, so I got a pretty good deal on these. And these are probably when I'm gonna experiment with the knitting toe-up socks, because I want to be able to use all of this. So we'll see kind of how that goes. I'm gonna play around with some scrap yarn and find my favorite toe-up technique, because I don't like magic loop, and I want to use my 9-inch circular, but I kind of want to do a short row toe versus an increased toe. So we might do like the provisional cast on or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Okay, so then this, I got it. I was at Michael's. I'm trying to do more kind of budget-friendly storage options that also don't look like crap. To me. Subjective to me, I'm trying to find storage solutions that don't look like crap. I've seen all of these things where they use those like wooden storage crates and they just kind of turn them on their side and make shelves out of them. So I bought 4 of those recently from Michael's, and at Michael's they are everyday value items. They're $10 each. What sucks about that is I can't use a coupon on them. But places like Joann's and Hobby Lobby, their wooden crates are much more expensive, and you can only use a coupon, you know, for 1 of them. So I kind of just decided to cut my losses on the coupon and just buy some crates. I bought 2 a couple weeks ago, and I bought 2 yesterday. So I have 4 now. I don't have a picture I can insert just yet, but I will post a picture on Instagram of kind of how my storage is getting set up currently. But while I was there, I was with my husband Lee, and he saw this Loops and Threads chunky boho in this color, which is jade, and he really loved it. This is a super chunky, yeah, this is super bulky. It's a 6, but it's even like, it's really thick, and I don't think I have needles big enough for this. And so I thought about like maybe doing finger or arm knitting, but I tried that recently, and this is almost still too thin for that. That grinding sound in the background is my dog found her dead bone versus my other dog. So this is, I tried, there's a video of somebody using like roving wool to hand knit this super chunky blanket, and I thought I would try to use the same technique. The problem is this is too thin for that. So it's kind of in between being too large for any of the needles that I have and being too small for finger or arm knitting. And he wants a scarf out of this, so I will probably, oh wait, I have those bulky wooden needles. I'll try those first, and then if I don't like them, I'll figure out another way to do this. But yeah, so Loops and Threads, chunky boho, and this is the colorway Jade. I got 3 of these. They were on sale for $3.50 each. Actually, these were on clearance for $3.50 each. So I got those. Okay, so then I'm going to start the Scania shawl from the Off Our Needles podcast with the Grocery Girls on Craftsy, and that pattern calls for fingering weight yarn doubled over on US 10s. Well, I didn't want to buy a whole lot of fingering weight yarn, and I didn't really want to go through the process of dyeing because you need 350 grams of fingering weight yarn in 5 colors. Not 350 each, you need 50 of 3 colors and 100 of 2 colors. So what I decided to do was, I already had 1 of these, and I decided to just pick up 4 other colors. I am going to use Wool Like by Loops and Threads. This is $3 for, I don't know the yardage, 678 yards. This is 678 yards, by the way. This is super fine, though. This is not fingering weight. This is even thinner than fingering weight. This is almost a heavy lace weight. I think that's what somebody said it was. So I'm still going to double it over, but I think instead of knitting it on US 10s, I'll probably drop down to a US 8 just to add a little bit more substance. But anyway, this is great. It's $3 a ball. I already had like a dark maroon color. So I got gray, white, navy blue, and black. Gray, white, navy blue, and black. Yes. And I think that'll work out interestingly. The Scania shawl actually calls for, she wanted more like gradients. So like one of the ones she knit was blacks, grays, and whites, and the other one was blues and whites. So hers kind of match a little better. I just wanted to do something a little crazy. Granted, I picked a bunch of neutrals and then navy. I picked 3 neutrals and then navy and red. So I think that'll actually work out really well. But since I just finished the One Skein Wonder, this will be the next thing I cast on other than socks. No, I have another pair of wrist warmers I need to knit. I don't know. But I am going to cast this on relatively soon. Maybe. I don't know if I can use US 8. I might use US 9s because my 8s are going to be taken up by my sweaters. I might use US 9s. It says super fine. By the way, this is crazy soft. I've actually knit socks out of this before, and they're one of my favorite pairs of socks, other than I knit one of the feet too short on one of them. But no, this is incredibly soft. You can get it at Michael's, $3 a ball. Totally worth it. Okay, haven't made you wait long enough. Are you ready? Is it giveaway time? It's giveaway time. Okay, so I want to show you what I'm going to give you. And I'm happy to announce I am giving away 4 prizes. Now, it's the same prize, but 4 people are going to get this prize, which is the most I've ever given away, and I'm really, really excited to do it. So, if you didn't already know, the giveaway is a hank of my hand-dyed yarn and a stitch marker made by Paul of Polly Knits. I'm going to link his channel in the video description box below. Paul is great. He's such a fun, sweet guy, and I think he lives somewhere out here on the West Coast. He was in California recently, but I don't remember if that's where he lives. Anyway, no, he's such a genuine person, and he made these stitch markers. He didn't make part of it, he just put all of it together, and they're so cute, and I love them, and I'm going to be keeping 2 of them, because he sent me 8. So what I've done is I've picked 4 of my hanks of yarn that I've dyed, 4 of my different colorways, and I've picked a stitch marker that matches that yarn. So, to start, we have this hank of yarn. This is called Send in the Clowns, and to go with it, I have picked, I gotta turn around, the Blue Skull stitch marker. By the way, they're all skulls, but they're in different colors. So Send in the Clowns with the Blue Skull stitch marker. So these do not have a clip. These are full circles. You can't clip it into anything. You can only slide it back and forth. So this is prize 1. By the way, these are in no particular order. Number 2, this is Glamazon with the pink skull. So everything here is sport weight. I don't remember the yardage. I think it's about 223 yards for 100 grams. So all of these are sport weight. Yeah. The third one is also sport weight. These first three are all 100% Peruvian Highland wool. This is the wool of the Andes yarn. So it's sport weight. This one is pumpkin spice with the orange skull. Oh. Orange skull. Pumpkin spice orange skull. And the last one is a little bit different, but I love it, and I think somebody will really enjoy this. This is actually 50% merino and 50% viscose from bamboo. This is so incredibly soft. I think it's approximately the same yardage. Again, it's sport weight. This one is called Desert Sunrise. And with it, you will get the white skull. I'm going to try and, in the future, dye this on my regular wool, but I really love it on this viscose. I love the twist, and I love the way the colors bled through that with the white skull. So, hey. So, 4 people are going to win one of these sets. And it's just going to be kind of at random. Yeah, it's going to be at random just so I don't disappoint, because, you know, you may all really just like one of them, and then I'm kind of stuck with, I don't have any other, like, I've only ever dyed one of these colorways each. So, yeah, so I hope you'll like what you end up with. I will try to kind of make a decision. But anyway, so those are the prizes for this giveaway. Again, 4 people are going to win, which is huge for me, considering the most I think I've ever given away is a needle set. So, this is my thank you to you guys for 1,000 subscribers. And in the future, again, what I would love to do is to be able to get you, like, Madeline Tosh, or Tink Yarn here locally, or Leadingman Fiber Arts, Lolo Did It, any of those places. That's what I'd eventually love to be able to give to you guys in giveaways. So, here's how you can win, okay? You need to be a subscriber to the podcast here on YouTube, and you need to leave a comment at the in the comment section. And I wrote this down. Where did it go? Oh, yes. I want to know what your favorite yarn is. It can be any weight, any color. I just want to know, you know, what's the brand, you know, what is your favorite yarn to use? Maybe it's a Red Heart acrylic. Maybe it's a fingering weight wool that you were gifted at one point. You know, what is your favorite yarn, or what was your favorite yarn to work with? And then I also want to know what is the most favorite project you have ever knit. It can be a current project, it can be a past project. It just can't be something you haven't knit yet. I want to know what your favorite project that you're either knitting or you have knit in the past is. Alright? So you need to subscribe to the YouTube channel, or be a subscriber to the YouTube channel, and you need to leave me a comment about your favorite yarn to use and your favorite project you've ever knit or are currently knitting to be entered into the giveaway. And what I'm going to do is I will announce the winners on the next podcast, which will be in 2 weeks. And I will, I use a random number generator. So I will go through and count the number of eligible comments, and then I will put that range into the Google random number generator, and it will generate a number, and I will do that 4 times, and those 4 winners will be announced on the next podcast. And what you'll do is the 4 winners, and I'll of course say this again on the next podcast, the 4 winners will need to email me that they've seen that they're a winner, and let me know what their mailing address is so that I can get those things out to you. Okay. Oh, I do have one other update. I was going to do this earlier, but it's fine. Okay, so if you don't already listen to it, there's audio podcast called Tightly Spun, hosted by Emily Jackson. She is from Fort Collins, Colorado. She is so amazing, but she does this audio podcast called Tightly Spun, which is celebrating the everyday knitter. I think I may have actually talked about this on a previous podcast because I was listening to it. Well, I have an interesting update. I'm going to be on it. I had my podcast interview with her on Monday, and we had an amazing conversation that was like the best hour and a half I've ever had talking about my fiber arts. It was such an amazing experience. She asked so many awesome questions, and we got to talk about so many beautiful things. And I'm so grateful to have been a part of that podcast. Now, it's not going to be up until maybe May or so. She's interviewed a lot of people, and I think she only does like one every week or every 2 weeks or something like that. But I'm going to be appearing, I think she said May 18th, so I'm going to keep you updated on that, because if you want to hear that, you can hear a little bit more about my story and about the things that I enjoy and why I do some of what I do. And if you haven't been listening to this podcast, you should go check it out. What I love so much about this is that it's not talking to like Joji Locatelli or Stephen West or any of these people that everybody, has seen interviewed. It's interviewing everyday people like you and like me and telling our fiber story. How did we get started with knitting? What do we love the most about it? What's our favorite project? What else do we do other than knitting, and how does knitting fit into your day? It's such a beautiful experience, and it really is a chance for you to tell your story. If you're interested in participating on the podcast, you can go to Tightly Spun. I think it's just tightlyspun.com. Let me verify that for you, because it really is an awesome experience. I don't think I'm spelling this correctly. Yes, so it is tightlyspun.com. I will put that web address in the video description box below for you. And what you can do is you can go to that website, and there's an area that says participate. And you can send her a message saying, hey, this is my name, this is where I live, and this is a little bit about my story. And she will review that and send you an email. Now, don't panic if you haven't heard from her. I think I emailed her back in like December, and I didn't hear from her till the 1st of February. She's also a mom. She's very busy. She's doing a lot of things, in her everyday life as well. So if you haven't heard from her for a while, don't panic. It could take her some time to get to you. But if you feel like that participating in her podcast and sharing your fiber story is something you want to do, you should absolutely send her an email and let her know. Because she is so, she's a fiber artist as well. So it's such a beautiful time to just talk, because it's not really, it is an interview, but it's a conversation, because she adds to the conversation. She does send you questions that she will start with, but it's more of a guideline. She asks these questions, but then as you talk, she'll ask more questions. She'll want to hear more about this topic or this topic. And it's really a beautiful experience, and I encourage you, if you don't want to participate, to at least take a listen. There's so many beautiful stories happening on that podcast. So that is the Tightly Spun podcast. You can find it on the podcast app for Apple. You can also listen online. I believe you can even download them. So if you go to tightlyspun.com, there's a section where you can listen to all the podcasts as well. So you should do that, and then I will let you know when you can look forward to listening to mine sometime in May. Okay. My dogs are... No, sweetie, no. Okay, come here. Oh, we got one. No, don't jump on my table. Come here. Oh, she's under the table now. Say hi, princess. Say hi, princess. She is so shy. She is such a mama's boy. Come here, Duchess. Come on. Hi. Come here. Hi. They got a bath today, and they're not really happy with me. Yeah, but you smell nice now. Say hi. No? They're just happy. Ooh, you are so soft now. they're indoor dogs, so I don't give them baths very often, maybe every couple of months, because they only go outside to use the bathroom. And I read that unless a dog spends most of its time outside, it really only needs a bath when they start to stink. And Princess was starting to stink. Where are you going? Oh, bye. Okay. Hi, baby. So, anyway, I hope you have had a wonderful time, and I will see you again very soon. Again, there's going to be more content coming out of this channel in thanks to having 1,000 subscribers and more. So be looking for a yarn review, be looking for the possibility of live streams in the future. I will try to let you know when that's going to happen. And then, of course, be continuing to look for the Knit Along updates. If you are not part of the Ravelry group on Ravelry, just go to Ravelry, search the Budget Knitter podcast. You can join the group and then join any of the discussions. My favorite thread in there so far is the finished objects of 2018, where we celebrate all of your productivity for this year from January 1st to December 31st. There's no giveaway or anything associated with that, just a bunch of crafters coming together and sharing the love of finishing objects. This is my year of productivity. I keep saying I'm going to knit through my stash and then I keep buying more yarn. But this is my year of productivity. I am trying to knit more and finish more projects, even if they're small. So I hope that you will join me in doing the same. So whenever you finish an object and you want to, you can share that on Ravelry in that thread. And we are all there to support and celebrate the finishing of your craft. So if you haven't joined that group, please do so. If you have any questions or anything, you can email me. You can find me on my social media. You can also send me a message on Ravelry or leave a comment here on the video. I do try to get to everything that I possibly can when the time is available. Yeah, so thank you. If you have any questions about anything that was on the podcast, maybe something that I didn't cover very well, or I forgot to tell you what the pattern was or something, again, leave me a comment or send me a message on Ravelry. I'll be happy to get those things out to you because I love to share in all of the fun. By the way, the One Skein Wonder Shawl is a free pattern on Ravelry, so if you're looking for free things that you can do with one skein of yarn, that would be my recommendation. Okay, I think we're all ready to go. She's tired. Oh, poor baby. Okay, so I will see you all again very, very soon. Thank you again so much, and I look forward to bringing you more content in the very near future. Have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!